Well, we're in the hog business. It's a family operation. We have 7 children, and 4 of the boys are involved in the hog operation. And we raise breeding stock and 4-H pigs and market hogs. Max, the second oldest son, is a swine veterinarian and highly recognized throughout the United States as one of the best swine veterinarians. And then Danita, one of the daughter-in-laws, is president of the National Pork Producers checkoff system. 4 sons involved in the business today have all served on state and national breed boards, been active from that standpoint. And we started back years ago realizing that it's not any reason to see how much money you can make and pile up in a pile, that we brought each one of them into it and started gifting land away so that the family kids own more ground than my wife and I do today. I wrote an article several years ago for Drover's Journal in Chicago that determined the success of a swine breeder. And his success depended on his ability to evaluate his own animals. In other words, to pick out the pluses and the minuses, and so he would know what kind of herd sire to select to make his hogs a stronger individual. What kind of hogs, what is that hog in description? It's a hog that is long-bodied, deep, wide, sound, but all components in balance. And when you get them out of balance, then you have problems. They don't remain sound, they can't function on their feet and legs well, or they got too much muscle for the amount of frame that they have, all of these kinds of things. And those are things that we're looking at when we're judging a hog, or one a gilt that we're going to put back in the herd or something that way. We want them well balanced. And I have a favorite saying is that there's not anything that you can have so much of, but if you get it out of balance, it's not good. And I challenge anybody to name me one thing that they can take all they could get, because when it's out of balance, whether it's in life or whatever it is, it's not good. And the animal's the same thing. To begin with, the time I was 4 or 5 years old, we'd moved every year for about 5 or 6 years. My folks had lived on 62nd Street where I was born. It was a farming area, and had a new dairy barn. My dad had gone to Purdue for 2 years, and like a lot of other people, they got caught up in the Depression and lost everything. Consequently, we were moving every year. And finally, we moved on this 15 acres that Dad bought. That's a loosely used term, for $100 an acre. We lived there 7 years, and he couldn't pay for it. And that land now is worth $30,000 an acre. How we got interested, how I got rid of this in hog, my uncle gave us a couple little pigs, and the house didn't have any electricity or plumbing in it, and was fired by 2 pot-bellied stoves, and had those pigs behind the stove, and the fire went out, and they chilled and died, and that was the start of interest of pigs. The next year, then we started in 4-H, which was 1935. We were only 20 miles from State Fair, and we showed 35 when I was 10 years old, and stayed at a 4-H club camp down there, and you were supposed to be 12 or 13, but I had an older brother, so we got to go to the State Fair. I remember one time, for some reason or other, my mother thought I had to have a dose of castor oil, and I was putting up a pretty big, stiff resistance to that dose of castor oil. She said, "You will not go to the State Fair if you don't take this dose of castor oil." That did it in a hurry. I don't know what the problem was, but State Fair stands out in those early years, and made it. I could sympathize with the people that are showing hogs in their first or second year and don't know what they were doing, because we showed for about 6, 7 years in 4-H, and we didn't know too much what we were doing. And that all of that pig club work and the experience of showing is what got me really interested. I knew that I wanted to go to Purdue. I knew I wanted to be involved with swine in some way, shape, or form. How it was going to be, I had no idea at that time. There's a lot more to this 4-H, and I'm very strong on believing in 4-H livestock shows because it's a family-oriented thing. I'm very strong on believing in livestock judging, not for the value of determining which animal's the best. That's minor. There's not anything in their education that does a better job of having them look at a problem, making a decision in a given time, and then defending their decision in oral reasons. And that's what life's all about.